servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramona, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
BrainShare Business Mentors proudly presents BrainShare.us, the ultimate business education platform, delivering the proven systems, processes, tools, and knowledge that empower you to build the business of your dreams. With 13 high-powered courses encompassing over 240 lessons accessed online on your schedule. Running a business is the hardest thing you'll ever do. We've helped thousands of business owners gain the leadership, communication, and business skills needed to build the business of their dreams. We can help you. Choose your learning path. Scuba Squad is the premier membership program for today's business leaders with access to all BrainShare material and double our money-back guarantee. BrainShare Basics, the ultimate business framework course, a hard-hitting 13-week program to lay the necessary foundation to build the business of your dreams. Or take individual courses as you need them. Every course has dozens of lessons, with video, practical exercises, precise documentation, and the opportunity for direct feedback from a BrainShare mentor. All programs have our exclusive 30-day money-back guarantee. No questions asked, don't wait. Choose your path and start today.
Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. Doing business and life with a purpose, serving others and achieving success. I'm your host, Steve Ramona, and we created this show for you because we want everyone to be motivated, inspired, and educated to learn how to do business and live life, which I think is most important, to make an impact in the world. Better life, better, usually say wife, but better person. But we're not going to say wife because some of you may not be married. I want you to think about today as you listen to my incredible guest, how you're going to serve today and what impact you want to make with that service. I also want to thank my sponsor, BrainShare.us. At BrainShare Business Mentors, our purpose is to empower entrepreneurs and business owners to create a thriving business that works without you. While most owners possess valuable technical abilities, the path of building a genuinely successful business requires skills beyond technical expertise, like sales, marketing, financial, process design, and documentation. Our mission is to help you create a business that's profitable, ethical, socially responsible, environmentally aware, and a positive influence in the world. That's why you sponsor my podcast. Go to get started today at www.brainshare.us. If you have any questions, I'll have that in the chat. And I'm excited to have my guest on in the green room. We're laughing and enjoying each other. We're both fellow Italians, so that was a great connection right away. But besides that, he takes the legal industry to a different level, to a level where most of us can understand and appreciate, which I love, because there's so many lawyers out there. How do we find through the minutia of the right lawyer? Joey, welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, Steve, thank you so much for having me. Honored to be here.
Oh, thank you. This is great. And I love the name Joey. One of my business partners is Joey, and I tease him all the time because he's really Joseph. But
yeah, of course.
Joey. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I'm sure we'll get into my story of becoming an attorney, but I'm now on my own. I have my own law firm, but back when I was at the firm that I was at, people were pressuring me to change my name to Joe. And they were like, no one's going to take you seriously as a Joey in the courtroom.
I can kind of see that. But then the other side of it is you stand out, your uniqueness, right?
And they were telling me, hey, don't be you.
That's why I had you on the show. That's exactly what I was talking about in the monologue, is you want to be different because you know you can help people, right?
Right.
Tell me how you help people.
So I'm a trademark law firm, which means
Oh.
that my team and I are a group of brand protectors. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, you do not legally own your business name, your logo, your slogan without trademarks. And we've received way too many cease and desist letters over the years to not do everything we can to avoid it. And so we transitioned after the first year that I started my law firm. We went from being a everything in the kitchen sink business law firm to a trademark law firm specifically.
And that's interesting because niching is good because you're focused and expertise in this. You're not multiple things, but it's harder to find people too, I would think.
You know, it may be, but to your point, when you show up differently, it matters. And when I'm saying I'm a brand protector,
Yeah.
I can say that without even saying I'm a lawyer, and people are like, what does that mean? The other thing too is that, you know, I started my business when I was pretty young. I was also a pretty young lawyer. And I learned very quickly that there's a lot of risk in starting a business. And the biggest risks as a business owner are not legal. And so I learned very early on that in order for me to have a servant's heart, I had to not highlight these potential legal risks that were never actually going to impact these new business owners. And so we led with this sense of, look, I'm going to maybe be your cowboy lawyer and tell you that you can probably get away with most things. You don't have to cross all of the T's and I's. You don't have to get all of your legal ducks in a row. But if you don't legally own the name of your business, that's a problem. So let's start there.
So that's a good starting point for a startup or a business that's young. That's like, if I want to start a company called Amazon, you know, Amazon trade shows, you'd come to me and go, what?
Let's not do that.
No, I think that's right.
But the thing is, everyone and their grandma is starting a business these days.
Yeah.
And so it's getting harder and harder to come up with a name, a business name, a logo, a slogan that is different. Over 500,000 applications get filed every year. Over 500,000. And over half of them get denied because there's some other company out there. And I'm not saying that business owners are evil and we're all moving forward with these names that we are trying to steal from others. Most of these denials are affecting what we call accidental infringers. People who don't realize that there was another company out there with the same name or something similar. But there are a lot of things that are black and white when you start your business, and that makes people think that there's some legal black and whiteness to this, but it's not as simple as if the domain name's available, you can use it. Yeah. Or if you filed the LLC under that name, that gives you the legal ability to use that to an audience.
Interesting. So I know I had a guest on that has a company name that I won't say the name, but it's $1 billion, multiple billion, one of the richest companies in the world, just launched something with the same name. This is where you could come in and go, because he's like, well, you know, I'll just have him come in and I'll make some money. I don't know if it's that simple, but that's where you'd come in because you're the expert in this, right?
Yes. And there really is expertise that's required to do this stuff at the search level, because, and you might already know this, Steve, but most of the rejections that happen because there's another company out there, the problem isn't there's already another company with that name. It's there's a company out there with a name that's similar and could potentially confuse customers as to the source. One of my favorite examples is, you know, the company Blue Apron?
Yeah.
So they filed for their trademark. They got it. They're the food subscription service. Another company out there filed for Green Apron, and it got denied. And the trademark office said, obviously, people can tell the difference between blue and green when they read it or see it, but customers could get confused and think that when they get an ad from Green Apron, that it's a Blue Apron spinoff or the sustainably packaged upsell of what they do, or the all veggies box or something. But my favorite part of that story is that the company that tried to trademark Green Apron and didn't was Starbucks.
Really?
Yes. So even big brands have to play by these rules.
Interesting. They have Green Apron. Yeah. Wow. And I knew part of that, but I didn't know the other part. That's why I love having awesome guests like you on this show, because I just learned something. So this is, Joey, I'm thinking as a business owner, this is vital early.
We say that there really is a cost of potentially rebranding and doing all this stuff later on. And so as early as possible, this is why we love connecting with our mutual friend, Alexandra Watkins, a naming strategist, as quickly as possible to say, hey, let's come up with a name that you love and make sure that we're seeing that it's as available as possible before you move forward and get married to it.
This is a great question. I've never said that before in a podcast, but I'm going to say it because so there's a hobby guy out there. He's, he's doing something just as a hobby, but it's a business, it's a side hustle. Mm-hmm. And he's got a name close to something else, but he's like, you know what? I do 50,000 a year. I'm not in their radar if I've heard that phrase before. Mm-hmm. Is that still important for him to worry about his name?
There's a huge part of me that wants to say yes. But the coach in me and the business strategist would want to follow up with the question of what is the cost of a rebrand? Because it never happens when you want. A cease and desist letter never gets received when you're just sipping on tea one day and you get this thing and everything in business is going great. We, of course, have clients all the time, now clients that have received a cease and desist letter, freaked out, needed our help. One of the worst case scenarios that we heard of was one of our clients with a podcast who they were flying to Hawaii to enjoy a family vacation that they've been looking forward to for months. When the plane touched down in Hawaii, there was a cease and desist letter in their email inbox saying that they had 20 days to change everything. So they had to spend the entire 7+ days in Hawaii in their hotel room, coming up with a new name, new graphic, new songs, emailing their list, letting them know. That's what I mean when I say the cost of a rebrand. And it gets even more expensive when you've got physical products, a really big following. Yes, it can be easier these days to make some changes with digital stuff, but there's a real cost to it.
Yeah. And I like that answer because I was thinking when I said the question, yes, don't really worry. But like anybody, if you start a business and it blows up, you're not going to say, hey, I'm going to stop at 60,000. If you go 100 customers a month and you end up to be 10,000 customers, you're not going to say no to 9,000 customers because you want to change your name, right? Am I thinking right?
Totally. Well, and to your point, this is an important thing that businesses should do. And when we started building things out with the firm, and I just love your phrase of a servant's heart, we were connecting with so many business owners that weren't yet making 100K, but wanted to get trademarked. Budgeting to work with an attorney was tough. I can go down this rabbit hole, but we had a few blog posts that I wrote go viral in the Etsy community. So there were like 60+-year-old women reaching out to me saying, hey, this was my retirement hobby, but I need to get this trademarked. And they couldn't quite afford to work with us. So we now have a really great DIY course on trademarks. You can go through there. It takes you about 3 hours to learn everything you need to file the application on your own. So I never want to give a business owner something to do for 3 hours, but if budget is an issue, that's a really great resource to do it yourself.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's a servant's heart. That's a business owner that's saying, I can't help you here, but I want to help you still. Yeah. Instead of saying, hey, take my, I don't know the cost, and we don't need to say, take my 10,000 or run. And that just leaves that person, you just didn't serve them.
Right.
You should always have resources like you have Alexandra. I'm going to do a shout out. She's unbelievable. Alexandra Watkins, what she does. So Trademark, on the flip side, so we talked about the kind of the negative side. What's the positive side that a person has a trademark? Is it just all about marking doesn't get changed, or is there much more deeper than that?
One of my favorite stories, and crazy enough, I've heard this more than once. When you get your trademark registered, the federal government sends you this like nice piece of paper saying the United States government gives you your trademark, and it's like got a gold thing on it. A lot of people frame it. One of my clients said that that was the equivalent of like when her dad, who was also an entrepreneur, got their first dollar bill and they taped it to the cash register. It was like, this is a sign that I'm in business. And I've heard that story from several people. Like, yes, it is a legal document, but it really makes people feel like, okay, now I am legit.
Yeah. Mindset change.
Yes. And for all of the business owners that are forward thinking enough to have the sale of your business as a part of your vision, one of the really great things about getting a trademark registration is that that becomes a value asset, a line item that you can just add value-wise to the sale.
And I didn't even think about that, but you're right. It's more value. And the cost of it is it's not going to be like, so we'll get in price, go have them reach out to you. That could be worth 10, 15, 20 times more having that trademark. You know, say you're $1 million company, you go to 100 million, someone wants to buy you for 150 million because you have the trademark. And I'm fake,
yes,
but you know.
Yep. And the real value is when people aren't yet trademarked and we work with them through the process to get their trademark registered. The goal is I want to be able to play defense, right? I want to be in a place so where if anybody ever questions my ability to use this, my brand, that I can point to this registration and say, no, I'm good. Once you get your registration, now you get to play defense and offense. So we have not only trademark application packages, but also monitoring subscription services for our clients, where we can help them monitor the trademark database, social media, the internet as a whole, and we can let them know, hey, we're seeing this other business out there with this name that's the same or kind of similar. We can give you recommendations in terms of whether we think they're worth going after. If so, how we can reach out to them effectively to get them to stop. But also, if another company applies for a trademark that's similar to yours, if you will allow their trademark to coexist with yours on the principal registry, it dilutes the strength of your trademark. So we also help our clients and other business owners make sure that once their trademark is registered and protected, that they're preventing other similar applications from getting registered.
I've heard that's pretty cool that you do that, because I wouldn't know how to do it. And most people don't. Like I always say on my podcast, I'm not going to pull my engine in my car and start fixing. I'm not a mechanic. I wouldn't know what the hell I'm doing. Trademarks, I have no idea. You actually taught me something in the green room, which we'll talk about later, how to, protect me and some of the things I was doing. But people say, yeah, I hear about trademarks, but they're not enforceable. Somebody takes my trademark, I'll never win, basically.
You know what's really interesting about this is we talk about like courts and jurisdictions a lot in the legal world, but there is a new jurisdiction that is being created, and it's the jurisdiction of social media platforms. Let's say that you find me on Instagram and I've got a very similar business name or podcast as you. You could report me to Instagram and attach your trademark registration, and they will take that very seriously and take down the other person's account, do whatever you want them to do, because they don't want to get dragged into a potential litigation. So that in itself is super, super helpful. And then at the same time, the whole trademark application process, it's kind of funny to think about, but the whole setup exists with an intention to deny as many trademark applications as possible.
Great.
The trademark office wants to keep the number of trademarks to a minimum so that there is a sense of openness of business owners to name things what they want and for there to be more freedom in the marketplace. And so there are a lot of opportunities to cost effectively go after other people's pending applications or cancel registrations if they're not using them.
And that's why, too, when you put a trademark in, they're also thinking in that way, too. We don't want a million trademarks. So they're going to be really specific on, are you going to be a good trademark? More so than maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Interesting. I almost want to get in the trademark industry. It sounds like a lot of fun, but I'd never be a lawyer. I wouldn't pass the bar.
It's super interesting. And one of the things that I love most about my law firm is we've got a really awesome team. And as much as I love being a trademark lawyer, I love leading my team way more. And so we've gotten to a point where I spend about an hour a week doing legal work. And I spend the rest of my time being with my wife, going to Sicily, and then just leading my team as effectively as I can.
And that's a great lesson for all you CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs out there. Make time for that and find a way to do, whether it's a team or software or money goal, whatever that may be. That's a great lesson, Joey, because I can imagine in the legal industry, it can be time consuming.
Absolutely, especially when we're a bunch of perfectionists who don't want to get anything wrong, even though mistakes are inevitable. I am seeing so many of my colleagues, and if anyone listening is a lawyer in the legal community, I get it. It's stressful to be a business owner in any industry, but freaking law school trained us to be perfectionists at the cost of our mental health.
Wow. That's a bold, I mean, not bold, but that's a big statement. Big. Okay, we'll run out of time here. A little, and can I bring you back?
I'd love to.
Be back. No, this is. There's so much more we can delve into, and I like these short spurts where people can listen and listen again. But we can't leave the show without what you showed me in the green room. This is the servant's heart. Your mug that you have.
So. Yes. So my mug has our law firm, Indie Law, on the one side, and then me doing a big smile with the cartoon kind of face on the other. And the main story here is that when we were about a year into our law firm, I was working with a branding person who was helping us figure out the logo and do other little touches. And we were trying to come up with a fun way to have like a sign off on my emails and my letters and things. And so what we landed on is, instead of saying sincerely or best or whatever before I put my name, myself and my team, we all end it with big smiles. And it's kind of weird for people to see a law firm always being like big smiles, but that's very much like we want to lead with that energy. And we, especially with our clients, I mean, we're helping them with the legal side of things that are no fun. And if we can be a bright part of their day, much less a neutral part that they have to get through, that's a huge importance to me and my team.
Yeah.
And so we always do whatever we can to smile as much as we can throughout the day and spread that around.
This is a guy, you just heard 3 times he said team through this podcast. That's a servant's heart. And he just edified his team. And I love that. We need to do more of it. Our team, our employees, our customers need to be taken care of like we want to be taken care of. Thank you, Joey. How can people reach out to you?
Oh, well, I appreciate it. If you do reach out, I'd love to give you a little bonus. So yes, we only do trademarks in terms of our services. But one thing that we get asked about a lot is contracts. And so what we decided to do was put together a free contract bundle. So if you don't yet have a good privacy policy, terms of use, non-disclosure agreement, you can grab all that stuff for free by going to indielaw.com/bundle.
That's a true servant's heart. I love it. And I want to thank all of you for listening. Don't forget, podcast, you could go forward and backwards. I love saying this at the end of the show because Joey gave you some $1 million golden nuggets for free on this podcast. And I'm so thankful he did, because someday you may start a business or you have a business. This could really save you money and a headache and time in the future. So use the forward and reverse button, stop at 5 minutes and listen to what Joey's saying. And then comment on YouTube, comment on my podcast, and I'll reach out to Joey and get those comments to him. Don't forget indylaw.com/bundles. Don't forget the podcast swag. I'll have that in the show notes as well. And then, as I always say, thank you for watching or listening. We'll see you on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart.